our main idea, seagrasses and mangroves provide sources of primary production, support diverse ecosystems, habitats, and add economic value to local human populations. What is seagrasses? Seagrasses are true flowering plants where the pollination and seed dispersal are through currents and spread through growth of horizontal rhizomes with new shoots at each node and can grow rapidly up to half-inch per day. Seagrasses' economic and ecological importance. Seagrasses provide home for adult and juvenile species and serve as their hiding places, stabilizes the sea bottom, high productivity of detritus, and statewide economic benefits. What are seagrasses' biological classifications? First classification is the shoalgrass, with the scientific name Haludiolythe, a pioneer species with a thin, flat leaves, grows close to shore and can tolerate exposure to fresh water. Second is the manatee grass, a Syringodium filiform, with round spaghetti-like leaves, found in deeper water and cannot tolerate fresh water exposure to air. Third is a turtle grass or the Thalassia testudinum with a tough, broad ribbon-like leaves, found in deeper water and also cannot tolerate fresh water. Seagrasses productivity and food web. Few species are feed directly on seagrasses like manatees, green sea turtles, sea urchins, and sand parrotfishes, and most of the energy captured from the sand by seagrasses are released as detritus, and detritivores are both filter, feeder, and deposit, feed on the bacteria and other microorganisms that work on dead organic matter. Seagrasses also supports a large community of epiphytes and epifauna that adds primary productivity and increased surface area for encrusting invertebrates. The following are the threats of the seagrasses: dredging and boating, eutrophication, turbidity, extreme climatic events, erosion and sediment discharge, and invasive species that result into the damage of seagrasses, the loss of habitats, loss of extinction species, and loss of marine ecosystem productivity. What are the different ways to conserve the seagrasses? We should sustain fisheries and maintain our marine biodiversity and save our seagrasses. Little we know that seagrasses provided highest fish catches and income at community level. And now let's proceed to mangroves. So what is mangroves? Mangroves is considered as the most productive and biologically diverse ecosystems, with a faculty of halophytes that cover up to 75% of the coastline of tropical regions globally, and a group of unrelated tropical and subtropical trees and shrubs that share the capacity to thrive in saline environment. What are the economic and ecological importance of mangroves? Mangroves protect and stabilize the shorelines from erosion by wave action, filter and absorb organic wastes, provide livelihood to the community, and serve as valuable nursery areas for fish and invertebrates. The mangrove's biological classifications. First is the red mangrove, with the scientific name Rhizophora mangle, with a broad maxilla that terminate with a point, long cigar-shaped propagules that found along the shore, reaching out into the water, and having a complex structures of fruits. Second is the black mangrove or the Abyssinia germinans, with elliptical green leaves often encrusted with salt, with a dark scaly bark and typically found behind red mangroves. Third is the white mangrove or the Lagoncolaria racemosa, which is broad rounded leaves with two glands at the base and found farther inland. Mangrove salinity adaptation, where the red mangroves exclude salt into the root surface while black mangroves secrete salt on the underside of the leaves, where the concentration of salt in leaves are discarded. Mangroves reproduction. Mangroves exhibit vivipary or live young instead of resting seeds like most of the flowering plants, and the propagule of the seedling is dispersed by water currents. The following are the mangrove threats: pollutions, toxic substances, and human exploitation that results into the sea level rise, increase of carbon dioxide, acceleration of global climate change that contributes to global warming. Different ways to protect our mangroves: afforestation, legislation of the different orders, monitoring and survey of the mangroves, protection like creating mangrove sanctuaries, development that include awareness of its importance. Our mangroves serve a critical role in climate regulation and climate change mitigation, serving as highly effective carbon storage site.